Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to episode number 31. This is awesome that I finally got this many videos out and had this many great people on. But today I have the Real Sam Prentice on. He is an awesome maker in our community, and he does some really awesome droids and really cool stuff. And one other thing before I bring him in, this episode is being sponsored by EM3D and ZYLTECH. I had to look at the screen to make sure I got that right. But yeah, we're going to be giving away 3 rolls of filament later. It's going to be PLA or PETG of your choice, depending on who wins. And you have to be, unfortunately, in the US only, because they only ship to the US. But the other program from EM3D will be an app that you can use on your iPhone 10 or above, where you can, it's a scanner app. That's a really awesome program. And that's worldwide. So those 2 codes, when we do the drawing, will be for anybody anywhere that has an iPhone 10 or above that works on. But enough of that. Let me bring in Sam Prentice and let's get going. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. I'm very well, mate. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm still up, still partying hard in the droid capital of my living room. So, yeah, very well, mate. How are you?
Real good, real good. Yeah, I'm so glad you could come on, and I know that normally you're sleeping right now, and that's awesome that you're here. But let me say hello to a few people in chat.
Sure.
Hello, Gary T. How you doing? Sergio, hello. Betty Boot 45, another room, hello. Maker Viking, how's it going? Tripod's Garage, hello, Tripod. Raymond Remakes. Let's see, where are we at here? Carl Fenton. Hello, Carl. Very nice to see you. But yeah, anybody watching, there's a link there. Nightbot keeps popping it up also. Or no, that's for my PayPal. That's not it. It's a pin post at the top of the screen. If you go to fill out that Google Doc, you'll be entered into the drawing that we're going to have later. Please go and fill that out. I'd appreciate it. I've never used the Wheel of Names before, but I think I got it figured out, and hopefully everything will go smoothly. But anyway, yeah, Sam, where should I start at? I mean, you've done so much great stuff, amazing stuff. I noticed that a while back you were on the red carpet of the Royal Albert Hall of Fame for the Last Jedi premiere. Also, I'm reading this because I don't want to get it wrong. You're on a blue carpet for the R2-D2 Rise of Skywalker. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, you've been doing your research, that's for sure. Yeah, so I'm part of the, I'm a committee member for the UK R2-D2 Builders Club, obviously in the UK here. And, you know, occasionally we get to do these really, really awesome events. Sometimes it's adverts, sometimes it might be a film, or it might be, you know, a Disney event or anything really. It could be, you know, I think I've done a makeup event, I've done TV work and various other things with the R2, which is right here, which is the one that I've built. So yeah, part of the Royal Albert Hall was with another chap called Stuart Bone, and we used his R2-D2 on that occasion, and the Rise of Skywalker, we used mine. So and again, you know, the US guys got their R2-D2 and we've got ours. So, and there's a selection, there's a good process. It's done in tiers. So if you have a certain robot that looks the part and is kind of screen accurate, that's kind of what they're looking for. So yeah, I've been incredibly fortunate, as you said. So you know, yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I see that Disney even came out with some of your models, the likeness of your models and some of their toys that they sell at the different theme parks.
They do, yes. You can get this. You can pick this up at Disneyland in Florida and California.
Wow.
So yeah, which is the very similar, obviously, to the Blue Droid here.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. It's very, very cool.
And anybody has any questions in chat, you're welcome to ask. We got the man himself here, and I'm sure you might have a lot of questions for him. I'm going to pull up a few pictures here, and you got so many. I've got like 40 pictures here. Yeah, so many great things here.
I'm very thorough.
Alrighty. Well, let me pull you back down to normal. And yeah, let me start with your first print here and see what you can tell us about it.
Okay. Well, actually, those were some prints that I did actually for my wedding. And you may or may not have a photo of there. I had the idea to have stormtroopers walk me down the aisle along with Darth Vader. We've just celebrated our 3rd wedding anniversary. So my best man's a massive Batman fan. So and my wife likes owls. So we kind of went with the owl theme. So these were kind of really big giant models that we 3D printed, which was, there you go. There we are. Look, me about 3 stone lighter. We've got an R2 there, and that's the UK Garrison, the 501st, and a lot of these guys are my close friends and stuff. So
very awesome.
We've got a Chewbacca there as well, and Boba Fett. So yeah, it was just an awesome day, just really, really cool day. There you go, Lord Vader. And you know, I costume as well, so I'm a 501st member, and like, if you know anything about the 501st, we go out and we do a lot of great work for charity, which is just brilliant. And
you look like a prince.
Well, we got married in a castle. So
wow.
We got married at Peckforton Castle in Cheshire, which is just down the road from Michael Badley, from Michael Badley's 3D printed droids. So met up with him a couple of times when I was up there. Look at that. You
look a little nervous. That look on your face. You're like, oh.
I think I was. Yeah. Yeah. The days before COVID, right? At least they had masks on though, right? You know.
See what we got going on here in chat.
Go for it. Hey there, Tripod. How the devil are you, sir? Sam is the better R2. Well, yes. A Daft Jar Jar. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of mixed things on whether you like Jar Jar or you hate Jar Jar. It's kind of all over the place.
I think he's come back as a better guy now. He's done a show recently where he plays a Jedi, Ahmed Best, isn't it? So yeah, check that out.
You scroll back up, some pictures. Oh, yeah, I popped in early. I always get set up early for streaming at night, and I guess you were mistaken, and we've been talking for quite a while off camera, or off, from being live. We were chatting quite a bit about different things. Yep. StreamYard is a great program. If you don't want to go live, you can just hang out, talk to your buddies. You're working on a project, you can pull this up and chat like this. You don't even have to be online doing it. It's a really cool program. But that is really cool.
Yeah, so over my shoulder here, I've got a big Audrey II. That was a Thingiverse file, and I found that, and there's a guy that produced that file. I contacted him, and we're friends on Facebook and stuff now. So yeah, that was Audrey II. And I've got some, I kind of like Venus flytraps and things like that. So that was part and parcel to that. And I painted that all up. And again, that's graffiti paint. We spoke earlier about painting and how we paint things and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, graffiti paint. And then I've put a satin over the top of it to get those kind of lips looking like they're moist. So yeah, still got that. That's still going. Okay. So this was, so when we were doing my first droid, which is a black droid, I ventured into the world of 3D printing. Now, the problem with R2 building at that particular time is that you couldn't get the parts that you wanted. So everything was in the States, everything was metal or wood, and it's been machined out there. And to import it to the UK is incredibly expensive. So when 3D printing came out, it was the answer really to all our prayers. So I got a Wanhao i3 duplicator, which, if anybody knows, that was just a dreadful printer. By the fact that the power that was delivered to the printer didn't work particularly well. So you would get smoke and flames and all sorts of stuff, forever replacing the board and replacing the jumper stuff on there. So anyway, going back to this. So there was a guy online called Michael Badley, and he was on Thingiverse. And if you know anything about R2 building, or if you know that, if you've seen that page, you'll see that he's built a full-size R2D2, which he's still got, and it was all 3D printed. So I contacted him, reached out to him and said, look, I'm trying to do this. I need these parts. And before I knew it, the parts were created, and those parts there basically formed my black R2 Q5 droid, which is Darth Vader's droid. Now, the reason I did that particular droid was mainly because there was a sea of R2D2s out there, and I just had this kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say hatred, but I just didn't want to do an R2D2. And it's only taken a couple of years. I mean, I've been doing this 5 years now. I've got 4 droids in this room. I've got others in the garage and various other places. So as I say, the black droid was the first, the blue droid was the second, and then there was a need for an R2D2 for a red carpet event and a blue carpet event and screen and TV, and there we go. So there we are on the Rise of Skywalker premiere. I'm there sort of third or fourth in there with the remote control with the R2D2. The guy in the suit there, the C3PO, is a chap called Simon Wilkie. He's an awesome 3PO. And then you've got Dio and BB-8, which are Disney droids that they bring in for big press events and things like that. So again, with the R2 Builders Club, I was invited to take part in this. And of course, as you can imagine, when you've built something and it's something that I guess you've kind of cobbled together out of parts, you know, there's a lot counting on you there. You've got the world's press there. You've got costumers. You've got photographers. And should that fall over, or should it fail to go forward, or should it not move on carpet, again, you have to go through quite a lot of testing and, you know, making sure that the thing is actually going to move on the carpet. So we had various different types of carpet to try it on: hard floors, cobbled floors, all that kind of stuff, to make sure that it wasn't going to fall over or break. And then obviously things like speed control as well, just making sure that you can maintain a certain speed. It's not going to fly off and run into a crowd of people.
That's so awesome that your droids were used in the movies and you controlled those droids, right? Whatever was going on, you were controlling them, not someone else.
Yeah, well, I was a droid performer on Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I did that. And again, like I say, it's just these opportunities that have been kind of, I've been very, very fortunate to be able to kind of be part of. So, yeah. So
the word would be droid performer, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking puppeteer or something. I don't know. What's the proper terminology?
Well, I would say that a puppeteer is somebody that I would say probably studied to be a puppeteer. And I think it's an art form. Right. What I do is probably a little bit of fakery. So, you know, when you've got something like R2 here, you've got the eye and he's kind of looking up at you, and you've got to be able to make that kind of move and activate those kind of movements. So, you know, that when he looks around at you, you know, you can kind of get that subtle kind of yes or no. And you can do that with sounds. You can do that with, you know, the movement of the dome or him turning away or whatever. There's just those very slight movements that you can perform. But I would certainly say that I don't know if I wouldn't say I was a puppeteer. I think that's a bit of an art form.
Okay.
In short. So maybe faker. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a really nice shot actually of Simon, the C3PO performer, BB-8 and Dio and my R2, which you know, again, that I had that in storage just in parts for about a year, and I think I knocked that out in about 4 months, and that's fully metal. That's a fully metal droid. So
any beeps or chirps or anything like that you control with your controller?
Sorry, say again. Any
kind of beeps or chirps that R2 makes, you control that with your controller?
Yep. So for press events, I actually use an Xbox 360 controller. So you have that functionality to do combos. So once you know, like any gamer, you know kind of what the combo moves are going to be. So you would use what's called a Padawan 360, which is a sound module, and you can control the droid. It will drive and all that kind of stuff. But we generally use Spectrum radios because they tend to work really, really well. They don't get interference from Wi-Fi or anything like that. It's 2.4 gig. And again, the sound, so that's R2Q5. That was on a Padawan 360, an Xbox 360 controller. And again, that will chirp, that will do all the noises and sounds. It will play music. It'll do the Star Wars themes, the Cantina song, and then you get, you know, and that's your interaction. You know, it's kind of cool to be able to be the man behind the control, hiding slightly out of the way, and then, you know, performing this in a certain way that's entertaining to other people. And of course, they don't know. People are looking underneath. Is there someone inside it? Is there, you know, there's a lot of fakery that you can do. And we've had some really, really great moments when we've been performing these things.
Didn't you say there was a scene in the movie? I think it was Rise of Skywalker where R2-D2's kind of bobbing around. And how did you make with the hydraulics, or how did you make him bob around like that?
No, that was so the operator of R2-D2 and the builder of R2-D2 is a guy called Lee Towers. He's a good friend of mine. And I was doing some work with him, and he put me forward for a little bit of movement. So we're in a forest scene at that point. you've got the Falcon, you've got Anthony Daniels, and I'm basically being asked to get in the dirt underneath R2D2 and kind of moving him around. So when you see that scene when 3PO is looking down at R2 and he says, you're my best friend, and he moves, that's me trying to juggle him around. And this isn't a light droid. You know, these things are heavy, 70 odd kilos, you know, 70 to 100 kilos. And to move these things around, it's quite a challenge, and hide out of the way, of course, so not be caught by the camera. So you never know, that might be some bonus footage at some point when things start coming out again from Disney. Who knows?
Anybody that's watching, please fill out the Google Doc at the top of the chat area there, because we're going to be near the end of the stream. We're going to give away 3 rolls of ZYLTECH filament. Unfortunately, it's only for people in the USA. It's your choice, PLA or PETG, and what color you would like. And then we're going to have 2 winners from EM3D. Ethan Makes is going to be giving away his app for an iPhone 10 or above. It's a scanning app where on the iPhone you can scan your face. And I'm giving away 2 codes worth $20 each, and that will be worldwide. So we're going to use Wheel of Names. I've never used it before, but I'm going to figure it out after a bit. So back to Sam. Anyway.
EM3D. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll check that out as well. Awesome.
So, yeah, I have an Android. I can't try it. I would love to try it. I'm not into iPhones. I wish I was. Maybe I will be in the near future. But
absolutely.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Okay, so on the right there, that's the first droid I built, which is R2Q5. I've still got him. He's in a state of disrepair at the moment. He does need a little bit of work. Now, on the left-hand side, this is the, I guess, my first attempt at a 3D printed droid. I've got him. He's all boxed up in parts at the moment. And this is a droid called Chopper. And he was in the cartoon Rebels. And this is the, I believe I was the first to kind of make the Imperial Chopper. So that was one episode that he was in where it was kind of dressed up like that in those colors. And again, you know, Michael Badley's just done a version of that. That was actually a builder called Tiny P that basically CAD'd all that up. I think that was about 4 months of printing.
How many printers?
2.
Wow. So start to finish, about 4 months of just print time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, thinking back to it is about that. And
wow.
you know, I it's funny because my dog was suffering from cancer, and we had to have a picture, and that was kind of my kind of homage to her. And I just got in. I was in a shed at that point, very small house we lived in, and you know, I just jumped into that, and it was very important to me to get it finished and, you know, have it looking. And we went out to Belgium and we showed it in Belgium, and it was cool, you know. So that's my little nod to my dog, my former dog, you know, way back then. My
pictures are out of order, but I believe this is the same droid when you were building it, right?
That's it. Yeah. That's absolutely right. So you've got, again, it's all 3D printed. Now, people used to laugh at me because I would have the most exotic colors of filament because it was cheap. So I'm talking like $8 filament, and you know, when 3D printing was all new and nobody could actually sell filament, and you know, at the time, I think even that dome was bright pink. So I've got domes that are bright pink. People would laugh and say, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're printing it like that." But by the time you put paint on it, and as you're going through the motions now, this was just a filler primer. Before we knew what decent filler primer was. And again, you can see the little undulations in the print there. And by the time you filled it and you know, finished it, it does look $1 million. There you go. Yeah, that's me sort of demonstrating my skills on Motep filler putty. So that went through. Yeah, again, I think that print was actually maybe that was printed at a 0.3. Okay. And again, it was before the times that I actually knew what nozzles were, and you know, everything was, there you go, bright green. Oh, blimey. Yeah, this is what I mean, though. It's you know, I didn't know what a 0.8 nozzle was. I didn't want to try it. I was a bit kind of, I've just got things working on a 3D printer, and you know, do I want to start swapping nozzles? So no, I didn't at the time. But you know, going back to 3D printing, you know, I started on this Wanhao. Creality really changed. Does the center leg raise? Not on mine, they don't. There are 232 systems out there, though. We'll touch on that later. So yeah, so basically, Creality brought out the 300 bed. I got one of those. And then they brought the 500 out, and that was really when we had a game changer, because all of a sudden you could fit just over slightly 18 inches of dome or body onto the build area. And that's when things started getting really interesting, because all of a sudden on a 500 build plate, you can kind of build the majority of the parts in one go. So Michael started CADing things up. Again, thank you very much to Michael Badley for being there and sorting all these things out, because it's just phenomenal, some of the work that he does.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as I say, long story short, we started printing droids. I've got some metal ones, I've got a wooden one. The new droid that I've got here, which I'll show you just in the corner there, this red guy here. He is, so you've got two there actually. So you've got a little baby droid, which is basically the same as the track droid on the right hand side.
Wow.
And then you've got the little baby droid, and in that I've put a large impeller, and it's a bit like a jet engine. So the idea of that is that it was going to go kind of extra quick. But again, we've got snow blower tracks in this with what we call Q85 motors. And he's, he does move, he does operate. I'll go very slow with him at the moment because he's literally just fresh with paint. But yeah, he will do his thing. He's a bit noisy at the moment, I will say, but there he is. Oh, he doesn't like the carpet, this one. But yeah, this is still a work in progress. And again, this is G-Tech filament that I've been using for this build. Yeah, he's a cool cat. I've had a lot of fun building this and printing this.
I would love to have a droid that I could talk to and it could actually talk back to me within reason. I know I talk to my dogs all the time. They look at me like, huh? I would love to have a remote control droid that could, have some kind of, I don't know, I'm being dumb, but speech recognition software or something where we could communicate.
Well, you know what? You can do some amazing things with Raspberry Pis nowadays, and these things are absolutely brilliant. And, if you're into electronics or if you want to get started in electronics, then, building a droid is, you don't have to build a huge one. You could build something that's small. And things I like printing big prints. And looking for support from 3D printing companies is obviously a bit of a hassle when you're saying, well, can you send me 10 kilos and I'll get back to you in about 6 months when I've painted everything, But with this particular droid, G-Tech were on it. They've helped me out. All the stuff's been printed with those guys. And Spring over at G-Tech's, made all this happen. And she also sponsored a pit droid, which is the little fella here, if you can see him there. He's a full-size pit droid.
They sponsored most of my Ghostbuster project, but I'm not done with it. And it's kind of on the back burner, and I need to work on it. And I haven't finished it, but it's still in the body shop.
Right.
I tinker around with so many different things. It's hard to keep me focused on one thing for a long period of time. So I guess that's a flaw of my character, but I do lots of different little things all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm the same. Now, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me show you this real quick. Okay. So let me just chuck something down on the floor here. Here we go. So when we talk about 3D printing and what they can do and how that all works, let me show you this little guy. Now this is a Badley Dio, and if you bear me just for a second, I'll stick the controller on. Now this is a droid that has a little gyro in it, and it's more of an advanced thing. Let me see if I can kind of move this around, and what you'll see is this little wheel moves pretty much on its own.
Wow.
So, and again, this is 3D printed. It's got a bit of PETG in it. It doesn't like the carpet, unfortunately. And again, that's off a little controller. Let me just come back here a second. There we go. That's off just a very standard controller. And this is run off a gyro. So it's got a little Arduino inside of it. I'll show you this. Hang on.
This is so cool, guys.
So what happens when it's a self-balancing robot? So when you turn this, you can get the movement. You can hear the movements as well. So there's all this is 3D printed. And again, there's little gears and bits and pieces in here. But when you move this, there's some serious torque in there. And again, it's a model that I really need to finish, like you were just saying. And again, it's self-balancing. And it's got speakers in it and a bunch of other stuff as well, which is just phenomenal. Again, Michael's come up with these concepts. I think we've got the dome. So the the dome sort of sits above it, and this moves, and it's got little servos inside of it. And what's coming up quite soon is we're going to start doing a series, which I'm hoping to work with you on, and come on the channel and talk about droids that I'm building this week, and try and get people involved with that a little bit more. And, you know, it's exercising your 3D printer in ways perhaps that you haven't previously known.
I would love, yeah, I'm 100% interested. I would love to do something like that. All these years I wanted to print more things from Star Wars and print a droid, and I never have. I need to do something like that. I would love to.
So we're going to start with an R5D4, which famously is the droid from the first A New Hope film, where the motivator blows up. So we're going to do a really small version of that. It's kind of one of these things that you can print within a couple of days. So I figured what we'd do is we'd do a show, we'd talk about how it goes together, and then send people away to be able to print it. And then we'll all come back and show what we've done, you know, painted and all the rest of it. So you've kind of got, it's a bit like, we have this thing here called Weight Watchers. And if you go to Weight Watchers and you're overweight and you don't lose the weight that you should have done in a week, or if you've put on instead of putting off, you're kind of publicly shamed. So it's down to you to print this thing and paint it in that allocated amount of time. And again, you know, there's no pressure, but you've got to do it. But you know what I mean. But like I say, if there's problems with it, if it doesn't work, if you can't get the servos working, and it's very, very simple and it's cheap as well. The servos are, you know, a few pounds or dollars. And again, you don't need a hugely expensive radio control or anything like that.
Before I got into 3D printing, I was into foam build airplanes, and I built 6 or 7. I had a DX6i, I believe it was, which I no longer have. I sold it. And I probably should have kept it, because now that I want to maybe get into something like this, I need to somewhere, maybe not quite at that level, something a little cheaper, but that I can afford, buy, and then work my way up depending on how far I go with the hobby as far as for building droids. But that would be so awesome.
Yeah, well, again, that's the sort of thing we'll be talking about. And, you know, Tripod mentioned this in our meetup last week. And, you know, it's kind of got my brain working with it now. And, you know, part of my YouTube channel is about 3D printing and how to fix problems that you've got. And this is a new printer that I've got and all that kind of stuff. And really, I need to get back to the droid building. And I think this will help me and hopefully inspire other people as well.
How many printers do you, how long, okay, you've been in the hobby for what, about 5 years, and YouTube for about a year?
Yep. How many printers do I have?
Yeah, you have quite a few?
Yeah, I've got 3 CR10S5s. I've got a Rat Rig, which is my new Core XY printer, which is now my main printer. I've still got the Creality 300 because I couldn't throw it away. I've got an FL Sun Delta printer and the awful Homer's printer that everybody seems to have. It's, and then I've got a couple of resin printers. I think there's about, and I've got, what's that one called? The Ender 5 Plus as well. So I think it's about 11.
I know that you have a day job, so this isn't your full-time hobby, that you're not doing it 24/7, but it must be hard to juggle in work plus everything else that you're doing on the side. I mean, when do you ever have free time, or you don't?
No, I think my wife's had enough, but we've had enough time to make a baby, which is due on May the 4th, which, you know, you couldn't make a more ironic date up, you know, being Star Wars Day. But, you know, I've got to be honest, something's got to give. And it was interesting when we were talking to Michael at Teaching Tech, and he was talking about his work-life balance and how that kind of goes around and stuff. You know, my thoughts are I'm probably going to have a look at myself and understand exactly where I am at with all this kind of stuff. But, you know, once you set the print up, there's no real hardship. As long as you don't have a serious fail, then generally you're going to be all right.
Yeah, like I've always told people, and you do too, when you buy a new printer, build it, learn the printer. Don't say, now what do I need to upgrade? You know, you don't need to upgrade anything. Learn the machine, because most printers right out of the box work perfectly fine. Not all, but most work fine.
Yeah, like I said to you earlier, if your first question is, you know, what should I upgrade first? That is your first question. You've already failed, because you should have probably bought something that's going to be awesome and more awesome, or get a good understanding. Do your research. People just jumping in and buying these printers. Look at the groups. Look at the problems that they've got. Look at, you know, the components, or wait 6 months. You know, you only need to take an example of the BQ-BX. They finally messaged everybody and said, hey, your printer is on a ship somewhere now. So despite being an early bird, despite, you know, paying the money up front and doing all the stuff that we did, it doesn't matter because everyone's going to still get their printers at the same time. So actually, you're probably off better waiting, carry on watching videos, understand exactly how this is all going to go together and how it's going to work. The problems that, many people face with stringing and, various other print fails, and kind of understand the hobby a bit more. But being in it the amount of time that I have, I went with my main printer is now the Rat Rig. It's a Core XY printer. It's a 500/500. It's slightly over 500/500. And it's phenomenal. But I've built it. It's my printer that I've built with my components.
Yeah,
so
I've seen your video you had out on it. You've got your YouTube channel and you post it on different Facebook groups, and that's a really good video.
And they really liked it as well. And I think it's a little bit different to, the stock videos. I like to be kind of a little bit out there and a little bit kind of interesting and mysterious and funny. And there is a humor with everything I do, with all the YouTube videos. There is a kind of humor under all this kind of stuff. And, you've got to just tap into that. That's the key.
Let me pull up another picture here and see what we can talk about.
Let's do it. Yeah. So that's the two CR10s printing the Audrey II, the big Audrey II that I was working on. Again, it's a Little Shop of Horrors plant that ate people, and it's behind me at the moment. I still haven't finished it. And again, it's like anything. Yeah, that's the little baby one. It's like anything. You start something, try and finish it before you move on to something else. But because I've got so much stuff and I can't help myself, it's I've just got to buy the next thing, or I've got to get the next thing, or move it around, or whatever. Feed me Seymour, indeed. Yeah. So the next thing I'm doing now is I'm actually setting a YouTube studio up in my workshop. So everything that I do, so this is going to go back to being kind of like the man cave. So the droids that are finished will remain in here. There's stuff that isn't finished in the 3D printers. I've got the CNC machine out there, and my kind of YouTube studio will be based out there as well. And I'll be doing live shows for Droid Builders UK. I'll be doing my own stuff, and obviously stuff with you guys as well. And obviously this kind of droid build with me, or whatever we're going to call it, which should hopefully be quite interesting.
Yeah, your R2D2s, your battery packs that are in them, how long do they usually last on a charge until they run down and you got to replace the batteries or charge them back up?
Days usually. They're LiPo 4 batteries, so they're again. So my job, or the business that I own, is Waste Electronics, and in fact, you can just see this side over here. There's a battery pack here. Now they're called tracer batteries. They're around about $250 each. They're quite expensive, but they weigh about half a kilo. So you kind of get the power of what you would get in your car with a big car battery, a big lead acid battery, inside of something really, really small. So, and again, the motors that are coming out at the moment, the motors that I've got in the track droid, the motors that I'm going to be putting into the R2D2, which are these Q85 motors. The Q85 motors are basically electric push bike motors. So you've got enough power in there to pull a full-size human along. And obviously they go great in these droids. So again, it's a no-brainer for us as builders to put something in there like that. And they're very low voltage, or they're 24 volt, but very low ampage when they're driving. So perfect, absolutely perfect. But yeah, days. If you put a couple of them in there, again, I'm really lucky because of where I work. So we tend to get the ones that people are like, we don't know what to do with these anymore. I get back, I test them, and they work great. And again, I'm a sort of reasonably good resource for fellow builders as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Pull up another picture. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask on your R2D2, the one that's movie scale, like the one there behind you, that's built, the turntable on the top is built off of a Lazy Susan. And how big is that dome? If somebody was to consider getting into wanting to print something like this, get a hold of Mr. Bagley and buy his files, how big is the dome side to side?
So there's just a question there from Jessica. It's a tracer battery. So this is I think this is a 12 volt tracer battery, if I can get focus on that.
Okay.
By tracerpower.com. I would highly recommend these. These are just the best, the absolute best batteries. And if you're building anything like this, I would always say probably go higher with the voltage, and go lower with the ampage. So 24 volt versus I think the 12 volt is something like 16 volt or something. So or 16 amp.
I completely had no clue. I was thinking remote control, and I was thinking battery packs, and you plug them into the T60. I had no idea it was like a motorcycle battery, something that large.
Yeah. And on your question on the domes, they're 18.25 inches. So
okay.
Yeah, I think that's right, 2.5. So you need a CR10 S5 at the very minimum to be able to print this kind of stuff.
Have you ever printed a dome in pieces and puttied and glued it together and sanded it and went through that process?
Yep.
And obviously it'd be a ton of work, but
it's a killer because you're gluing stuff together. The great thing about plastic is when it's in one bit, it's in one bit. And of course, if you're printing in PLA and the sun hits it, you're going to start seeing those lines. You're going to start getting separation. If you print it in one, you're not going to have all that. What's that? Looks like a lawnmower battery. Yeah, I mean, you can use all those kind of batteries, UPS batteries I used to use. But what I'm talking about here is a weight ratio. So this weighs 0.5 kilo and it'll run all day. So, it's when you're carrying a Droid and these things weigh sort of 70, 80 kilos, that one probably weighs maybe 30 kilos. Okay. Yeah. So this is interesting. So we've got Q5's dome, we've got R2D2's dome, and you've got SHP's dome. These are the domes from the UK Builders site. They are the ones that are also produced for the film. So if you're looking to buy an aluminium dome, and each of these will be around about £300, and to finish it all in aluminium is around about, let's call it dollars, $1,000 with the lighting and the setup and all that kind of stuff. So it is expensive, which is again another reason why it makes it a good commodity to be in 3D printing right now.
Are those okay? Never mind. I'm not going to ask that.
That's a DLT 19.
Very nice.
So that's a Star Wars gun, basically.
Darth Vader.
Let's have a look. Yeah, there's Darth Vader. Yeah, so I met Dave Prowse at a Comic-Con. Look how thin I am there. This is pre-lockdown, of course. And yeah, nice guy. Really, really nice guy. So I'm a pop vinyl collector as well. I've got hundreds of the bloody things. So all Star Wars stuff. So yeah.
Checking chat real quick. And like I mentioned, anybody watching, if you'd like to get in on the giveaway, if you live in the U.S., I'm giving away 3 rolls of filament, PLA or PETG from ZYLTECH. And I'm giving away 2 codes from EM3D, a scanning app, if you have an i10 phone or better. And we have another amazing special guest popping in. And this is a shocker. We've got the king himself here. Hello, Mr. Bagley. How you doing?
Hey. How are you doing? Yeah.
He's a sexy wizard. It's
awesome.
Michael Bagley.
Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. What a magnificent beard you have.
Yeah, I've been in this hobby for about 4 years, and I've never joined your group before. I've always wanted to get into droids, and I just never have. I have, so much going on. And I thought that your emoji, where he's a young guy and you got the big old mustache, I thought that was you. And then I logged onto your channel the other day and I subscribed because I wasn't a subscriber. And it's like, no, he doesn't have a big old mustache. That's not him. But yeah, I've watched a bunch of your videos and you're an awesome guy. You're the godfather here. So
I did the picture ages ago, years ago, when I was messing around with Photoshop, and it was on my profile when I set up a lot of the groups. So I kind of inherited it, and everybody expects the white hat and the mustache. So I think I need to change my my persona at some point to match that. But no, I'm getting halfway there with the beard.
Yeah, I haven't even. I don't even know where to go with the questions, other than you're an awesome person. I'm glad that you're here, and I wanted. You have some little droids that you're working on in some of your videos. I'm thinking that might be pretty cool for me to start there, make something small, and if it goes well, then I can slowly progress and get bigger and bigger, and not jump in head first on something I may never finish. But
yeah, sure. When I started designing, I designed from the big downwards. So the first thing I designed was a full-sized R2D2. Which was a crazy thing to do. And then realized in the group that people needed somewhere where they could, on ramp, they could learn a little bit about 3D printing, a little bit about electronics, and build up to it. So that's when we started to do these little guys, which the small print. Literally, you've got a head as a print, you've got a body, you've got a couple of legs, And then
very cool
legs. And it's only you know, I always say it's a weekend build because it's not too much. And the electronics are incredibly simple because all you've really got is a servo that does the dome. There's a couple of servos that do the drive, and that's pretty much it. So, and on the group, these are either people who haven't touched remote control or servos before, can build these things, or they're a weekend project with the kids or family or whatnot. So these have been really popular, and they come in every different flavour and size and shape.
And that's what, Jerry, that's what we're going to start with. That's the kind of droid we're going to. Oh, that looks cool.
So this is a homage to Sam's little baby there. I think we've got the R6, match the same colours, but there's the whole range. The problem with Astromechs is once you make one, suddenly everybody wants every single one. They want the R2s, the R3s, the R4s, the R5s. Hence, these are really popular little fellas. And then we kind of build up a little bit. We've got these ones which you may recognise again, little mouse droids.
Yep.
Nice. Again, very very simple. But these have got sound cards in them as well. So they make little sound. And again, the electronics in them are fairly simple. These ones I did, so they've got little Bluetooth receivers in them, so you can control them off mobile phones, off your smartphone. Again, just to stop, so that if you want to give these away, you're not having to buy a whole RC setup because they're only small and fairly cheap to make.
And that was the end of that one.
If you break them, you can just build another one. It's fine. So.
Yeah, we have a question. Gary T is wondering what design software to use when you design a lot of your stuff.
Fusion 360 I use that solely. I started on 1.2 3D design, which was the smaller, simpler version, and then when they phased that out, I moved across to Fusion, and absolutely love Fusion. Fusion 360 is fantastic.
So, if I could ask, how long have you been in the hobby? How long have you been in 3D printing and doing this kind of thing?
Yeah, I started about six years ago. I got a 3D printer, and then I wanted to design something as opposed to printing other people's. So I chose to learn how to design 3D prints using R2-D2 dome, because I thought it's a half a ball, so how hard can it be? All you've got to do is cut a ball in half and add a few details, which I did, and then after doing that, I shared it onto Thingiverse. Really my design. I was just printing it for myself, and I got hit by this crazy bunch of people called the R2-D2's Builders Club, which I didn't even realize existed. And of course, when you fabricate R2-D2, you can make a lot of the square things out of wood and styrene, but the dome has always been a difficult one to fabricate. So the dome got incredibly popular very quickly, followed by the amount of flaws that was in it. You know, this angles out and these little details out, which the group is incredible with the details. So I've done a couple of revisions and got it to the point now where it's as accurate as can be.
Something that I was wondering, a lot of people watching may be wondering, is Disney and a lot of companies, you can't copy their work exactly the same because you might get in trouble, or on Thingiverse. How does it work with droids like R2-D2 and Sam having them actually in the movies? How does all that work with making your own exact replicas? And
sure, yeah. We've got within the R2-D2 Builders Club has got a fantastic relationship with Lucasfilm and with Disney. Effectively, as Sam said, you know, we've got some in the movies. We support some of the red carpet events, but to do that, we have to behave very, very responsibly. And what that means is that it's an absolute no-no to build these things commercially, to make money or profit out of them, to sell them. We just don't do that in the group. And but what we do with the group is use them for a lot of charity events, fundraising, and some of the, you know, we have the absolute privilege sometimes of getting involved in some of the more formal events and the movies, and that relationship works really well. And it's one of the things, you know, if it ever comes up on groups, you know, hey, can I produce a load of these? Can I sell these? Blah blah blah. It's just an absolute no-no, because that relationship's pretty special with Lucasfilm and with Disney. So with it comes a lot of responsibility for the group.
Absolutely.
All right.
So,
Yeah, let me go ahead, Sam.
No, absolutely. Like Michael said, you know, it's the charity element is incredibly unique to what we do. Same with the 501st, same with the UK Garrisons. You know, it's all about the charity, and you know, like I say, we raise a lot of money. In fact, what did we raise, Mike? Was it nearly 11.5 grand in the last 12 months for Calm, the charity Calm, which is a suicide prevention charity in the UK. And you know, again, being in COVID times and lockdown and all that kind of stuff, everybody's suffering. So, you know, 3D printing and going beyond 3D printing, I think it really helps everybody's mental health. And what I really admire about Michael Badley's group is, and it's very unique, that everybody's just got to be cool. And there's no animosity, there's no stupid questions, there's no, you know, that whole thing. I'm just getting into it. How do I do it? Just be cool like the Fonz, right? Yeah. So that is a really, really nice way of putting it. And it works. And it works for, I think it's getting on for 12,500 people now.
Yeah, it's been incredible, Jerry, to be honest. There's a lot of toxicity in the internet, within Facebook groups, within people who are starting hobbies, you know, lots of kind of noob and you don't know this and whatnot. And one of my founding things that when I started the group, and I didn't realize it would get anywhere near this big, was that it would be a place where people could just come out and chill out and not worry about all of that crap. Yeah. So in reality, we don't have any rules, but the only rules that we do have are, you know, you can ask stupid questions. You know, if you've got heaps of knowledge and years of experience, still ask stupid questions, because we're all learning, right? And you know, and absolutely no kind of arguments. There's loads of places on the internet if you want to have an argument about things or fall out. The other thing I think that, as Sam mentioned, which is again real core part of the group, is that support thing. We have Drinks and Droids, which we started, at March, I think it was, last year, just at the start of all of this craziness around lockdown and COVID, just as a way for people to socially connect on, you know, and within the hobby. And so every other Saturday, we just grab a beer or grab a coffee, jump in front of a computer and jump on with a load of people, split off into rooms and just talk about our hobby. Started in March, and it's been every other Saturday since then, and it's incredibly popular. And we raised about £6 grand on top of the money that Sam mentioned, really, for various mental health charities and COVID charities. So again, that's fundamental, I guess, to what we do, as well as build plastic robots that give us huge amounts of pleasure.
Let me pull up a couple pictures here.
Yeah, look at that again.
Amazing.
There's some magnificent droids on there, and you know, if you look at all of those, there's every different type of build on there. So, you know, and what 3D printing's given us is the ability to do some of the more complex ones and some of the more complex details. So yeah, that looks decidedly like one of Sam's pictures, I think. Magnificent blue droid that we have in the middle. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, and I got you know, as we build up, I've also done some things that aren't quite as Star Warsy, but again, the idea is that what I do is build up complexity. So this one's now got, you know, it's got a ball servos, it's got some. And it's got an incredibly complex 6-wheel. A
Mars lander.
It's a Mars lander, but it's a full 6-wheel drive, and it's all completely 100% 3D printed, including all the mechanisms and the gears and whatnot. So I think it's just a good on ramp to learn. The other element that we tend to do is a lot of education stuff. So. We've got Fusion 360 Zoom sessions where people can just drop in and learn how to do some basic designs so they can up their skill set. The electronic side is incredibly popular for the group, because people are entering these being able to build things, but not necessarily being able to put lights and sound on. So once you've got some of the basic knowledge, what they tend to do then is add all extra bits of features and things like that to the build. So yeah, it's been an incredible group, really. It is an incredible group.
Let me pull up a few more pictures here if I could. Let's see.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that's another Badley.
That is indeed.
That was, I think that went to Giles, actually, that one.
That's the Giles. That's the R7 zone, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. The beauty of some of these ones is whilst they've got designations like the R7, there's not as much limitations by them being in movies, so you can play around with the design a little bit. So they're all domes again. We've even got, as you can see on the right hand side of that picture, that's the old Kenner model, the very early little R2D2 figures that you got in the 1970s, if you remember those. And we did a full size one of those.
Right.
Printed one.
Yeah, this was interesting. This is a guy that's in the States that I got tagged in on, and he's been to the Disney parks and he's bought these little droids, and then he's customized them to be SHP and LE5. So like I said earlier, it's really nice when there's almost like a fan thing that you can tap into. So I'm forever finding people that have kind of tried to mimic things that, you know, the Blue Droid and other people's droids and things like that. So it's nice to be able to sort of touch base with those people. But yeah, this guy I'm on Twitter with, and he goes around and just takes photos. Yeah, that's LE5.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then I got sent this guy here, which is another one of the Blue Droid, which is pretty awesome. Here we go. Let's try and zoom in, which is a nice one. Hey, Mike, let me just show you this real quick. What do you think of this guy?
Oh, just if wow, look at that. Very red.
It's very red. Yeah, we've got. Whoa! Look at that. I got some new software. Woo! Yeah.
Look at it. So that's
So
the,
how
that's the
do you
printed
do the dirty look? Do you take ashes like out of? How do you do the dirty look on a lot of robots? Use ashes and kind of smear them on and.
No, so we're quite fortunate. There's a couple of products that we have in the UK and Europe. One is Motep spray putty, which is in Michael's hand right now, and the other thing is a product called Dirty Down, which I'm hoping that Michael might have as well. No?
I'm going to grab some.
And what Dirty Down allows you to do is it kind of makes things look old and distressed or crackly or whatever. So you dirty things up. Again, you can achieve some of this with spray paint, but this stuff you can wipe off or you can seal it depending on what you want. So certainly with R2 here, you can see that there are a variety, dark brown.
Okay.
And you spray the stuff on, and again, it's water based. In fact, I think it's plant based, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of water based. I think it's a brown dye actually.
Awesome.
I mean, this has been you can see on the legs and whatnot. This has been weathered using this stuff, and it feels like cheating a little bit because you spray it on and just wipe it off, and literally you get that kind of effect. It takes minutes. So it's.
But I don't think, unfortunately, Joe, I don't think they do it in the US. So. It's Mike's got people crying out for Dirty Down and Motep to be shipped out there, but it's I think they're based in Norway, aren't they? The Motep guys.
The Motep boys in the Netherlands, I think, and Dirty Down's in the UK. We've actually got Dirty Down. I've had one batch that I managed to get across the US of Dirty Down, but the problem is freight and aerosols. Shipping aerosols is a nightmare. We've got them all labelled up with the health and safety stuff on there, but it's just trying to get them across to the US that becomes a bit of a challenge at a reasonable cost, of course.
Let's see here. Oh, there we go. That's the one that we have behind us right now, the backdrop.
Yeah, that was kind of like a press shot that I was sort of messing around with. There's 3 Creality CR10s there. That was at my workplace. I was moving house at the time, and I needed somewhere to store my stuff, so I started printing there as well.
Wow, very cool.
And this is part of the problem with 3D printing is you do tend to fill your house full scale.
Yeah. So these are another batch of droids that I'd like to show you guys at some point soon. You can see one of those ones on. I showed you one earlier on the floor. These are the mini versions of that great big red droid that I'm printing at the moment. I can't give you too many details of where you can find this stuff right now because we've got it's a beta group at the moment. But like I say, it's if you've got something you spend hours and hours and hours printing, you probably won't want to take it around a racetrack. But the small droids, you can race them and smash them up and just reprint them very, very quickly. So all of a sudden, it became a bit of a phenomenon that in the US there is certainly when they do big celebrations and Star Wars days and stuff like that, they have these mouse droids that they race. So they've come up with this new Star Wars droid. So the smaller version of that is basically what they're doing. That's me looking very serious there. Look at that. Yeah. Again, that was another press shot when I was building R2D2 at the time. So
he's mostly aluminum, it looks like in the picture.
Yeah, that one is. Yeah, and again, for certain works, they don't like 3D printed parts. They don't mind the dome so much, but there are some limitations. That was Pozu. That was my first big event with the Q5 droid, and the parts in that, the arms, the ports at the front, bits and pieces in that were all badly files. In fact, most of the legs were all badly files as well on that. There you go. Again, that was the early days of 3D printing where you had to slice everything up and hope for the best. And an aluminium.
Got a lot of pictures here, so I'm kind of jumping through them because I'm looking at our time.
Yeah.
That's a MCM Comic Con. We got R2 Chopper and SHP there, and that's the Rebel Legion guys. And again, we may have 100, 200 costumers at an event. Oh God,
there you are.
That's worrying, isn't it? Who's in the shed today? Oh, it's me. Yeah, weird. So that was a thing I did for a local supermarket. Again, there's a couple of droids in my old front room. These aren't the droids you're looking for, indeed. Move along. Yeah, okay, there you go. So you can see the 3D printed parts. That when I touched base with Michael, I was like, "Hey, I need these things. Can you sort them out?" And he did. So that's how we first got sorted. We first got talking.
Yeah.
What's the most technologically advanced drone someone has built? Do you mean drone or droid?
Probably droid.
Example, Boston Dynamics. I guess if you look at some of the special effects within the Star Wars films in the UK, you'll see a puppet called Six Eyes, and he is incredible. Google it, Matt Denton and Six Eyes. He comes on and he's got gyros in this mask, and it moves around, and it's like CG but for real. Yeah, another shot with Pozu again.
Yeah, I think the one that I've done is Chopper. Chopper's the one that's probably got the most animation with arms that come out the dome and it spins round. I mean, there's a couple of questions there on things like YouTube links and stuff. Can I post those, Jerry, or do we need to put them on afterwards? Because I can share some of the videos and whatnot with the guys.
Say it again.
There's some questions on things like the YouTube groups and the Facebook groups, the requests for the links.
Sure. I can post them after the fact, or you can put them in private chat and I can post them. Not a problem.
Sure. Okay, I'll pop some links on the private chat, and then so if people want to have a little bit more look at the animation.
Sam is on Instagram and YouTube, and I've got links below in the description. But yeah, anything you want to post. And after this is over here in a little bit, I'll go back and edit my video, and I'll put them in the description for you, Mr. Bagley.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, please subscribe to my channel because I'm dying out there. Yeah. I've got kids to feed and stuff soon, so
Yeah. Sam Prentice, everybody go subscribe over on YouTube. Hit the bell. That way, the next time he goes live or posts a video, you know it. But we need to do some giveaways. So go ahead and keep talking. Let me go ahead and post these real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jerry calls me Sam the Real Prentice, which just amuses me all the time.
I said that backwards a couple times, but let's see.
Lovely. There you go.
Here's two links that are in.
Thank you, tripod.
That works.
Yeah, so it's a really cool hobby to be involved with, guys. And, you know, like I say, we're going to be doing some stuff with Jerry. We're going to be talking about droids. We're going to be doing little mini droids. And again, you know, tune in for more of those kind of videos. And, you know, I'm hoping to get back to my actual want for YouTube and actually building some droids and showing you how they're done.
You go ahead and figure this out here. Go ahead and please fill in and talk all you want. I'm trying to figure out what
do some technological stuff. Yeah, I guess one of the questions we get asked quite a lot really is how do you start? My view on it really, and I'm interested to see what Sam is, but you start by starting effectively. Grab something you want to make and literally learn by doing. There is a lot of information out there. Some of the YouTube links, and like Sam said as well on his channel, there's so much stuff you can kind of look at to get an understanding of what you're getting into. But if you've got a 3D printer, print a couple of parts out and start to play around with them. The other thing I would definitely say is to connect with the builders. The community is absolutely outstanding when it comes to helping and supporting people. So just jump in and ask questions. And nobody knows everything. So you've got electronic experts, you've got 3D printing experts, people who'll help you finish and whether you build. So there's a lot of knowledge out there and a lot of people who want to share. So it's just a matter of jumping into the rabbit hole and disappearing.
All righty, guys, everybody watching, I've got everybody's names imported into the wheel of names. And the first three things we'll give away will be a ZYLTECH filament here in the USA. Your choice of PLA or PETG in the color that you want based on what they have available. You're welcome to go over and check out their site, or I'll show it here in a minute and then let me know. And let's go ahead and spin it and see who the first winner is going to be. But if you're not in the US, I'll have to respin. And I'm not technically advanced enough that I've just used this for the first time. I didn't separate who's from where. So let's see what we got for the first winner, and hopefully they'll be in the USA.
Oh, no. Imagine.
Is John in the USA? And is he in chat? John, are you in chat, and are you in the USA?
You know who John is.
Oh, is that his last name? Tripod. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about that tripod. Yeah, let me know if you would like PLA PETG from ZYLTECH and what color, and we'll get that sent right out to you, or they will. And let's go on to the second person. Congratulations, Tripod.
He said Pet G in pink, he said.
Okay.
Guy Lanzone.
Guy.
Well done.
Guy, are you in the USA? Let's see if Guy is here. Guy Lazone, are you in the USA?
Jedi. Guy the Jedi.
Oh, he is. Okay, Guy the Jedi.
There we go. Yeah.
Is that Guy Lazone? Is Guy the Jedi? Okay. Yeah, Guy, I'll show their group here in a minute, but let me know what color PLA or PETG you'd like. Shipped to the US only, and we'll get that sent out to you. We go back. Let's spin one more time for ZYLTECH, PLA, or PETG. Looks like we got Jessica Kirsch.
Well done.
Jessica Kirsch is our winner.
Jessica.
Congrats, Jessica. Are you in the USA? There she is. Jessica's in chat. And are you in the USA, Jessica?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Awesome.
Amazing.
Sleep.
All righty. I normally was going to show ZYLTECH and EM3D first, but I forgot about it. But EM3D Scanner app, if you have an iPhone 10 or above, it'll do facial recognition, and it's a cool scanner program. And this is good for a $20 code for 2 winners. You can use anywhere in the world with your iPhone 10 or above that has facial recognition. So let me go ahead and spin and see who's going to win the codes here. I wish I had an iPhone. I've got an Android. I guess I need to upgrade. Ooh, Ryan Thorpe. Awesome. Yeah. Ryan Thorpe. Ryan Thorpe, you're a winner anywhere in the world. I got your email, and I'll get this sent right over to you where you get a one-time use code for $20. And let's spin one more time and see who we got. This is a cool little program. Oh,
Dominic
Versetto, you are a winner, Dominic. And I've got your email, and after the stream in a little bit, I'll get that code emailed over to you. And yeah, that's very awesome.
Congratulations.
And let me show the scanner app here if I could real quick from Ethan Makes, EM3D. The scanner app program. I got a better picture. Let's see this one right here. Yeah, that's his son. That's Ethan right there. And it's a very cool program, a scanner app program that you can download from the App Store, I believe. Very cool.
Excellent.
And ZYLTECH is based out of Texas. They sell all kinds of printer filament, PLA, PETG. They have printer parts. They sell printers. They've got a little bit of everything. They're based out of Texas. I'm an affiliate for them. And I will plug this real quick. If you buy anything from them and use the code 3DHP at checkout, you'll receive 15% off your whole order other than special filament packs. So, yeah, very cool. So thank you for giving me a minute, guys, and allowing me to do it. I've never used that program before, but I love giving away stuff whenever I can. People love winning stuff. So
fantastic.
Very cool.
Thank you very much.
If you go on Joe Telling's stream, you got 1,000 people watching, then it's really hard to win. But I did win one time. It was so cool. I've got that the follow by Edgy that you put a phone on it and you walk around the room and it tracks you. I won that. That was so cool. So
very smart. Very smart. So shall we have any more questions at all?
Anybody have any questions? Let me fly through a couple of pictures real fast if I could.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's again the first droid that I built. You got 3D printed, really bad cog on the top of that. That was the, that's the Lazy Susan we were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do that though.
So the Lazy Susan needs to be 18 inches, or does it need to be a little bit smaller?
What do you? Oh, the thing is, Jerry, if you go on the Michael Badley page, he will show you how to do his own Lazy Susan with ball bearings or Nylax, isn't it? Nylax?
Yeah, I printed Lazy Susan. I think mine's in PETG actually, the one that I've got on the main droid. But yeah, the 18 inches, 450 millimeters, 17 3/4 inches. All of them, you can get all of them to work. The sad thing with the Lazy Susans is there's no standard like there is with other bearings. So trying to get ones that fit exact is a bit of a challenge. But I've not come across one yet that we can't get to fit. So there's a few options on there.
Okay. Let me just pop down through these questions real quick. Comments.
Yeah.
Because if I don't show them on the screen, there's no guarantee that YouTube will show them after the fact. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. YouTube is kind of strange. Ethan, we just gave away 2 giveaways from you, Marcus, Ethan's dad. But yeah, there's a creator right there of the app. So thank you very much, Marcus. I appreciate it.
Well done.
Go back and watch the stream in a little bit, Marcus. Yeah. You guys still have a few more minutes, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to start at the bottom and go up on pictures because I jumped around too much.
Okay, so that's the ALT droid that I'm working on at the moment. There's some details I've got to finish off on that, and a few little things I've got to work out on the tracks and stuff. But he's moving around, he's doing his thing now, and trying to get it as quiet as I possibly can. And there's more paint to do and stuff. But yeah, that's where we're at. And that's a full-size ALT droid that's been designed by Michael Badley. There's a different track system in that to what the 3D printed one. This has got the Q85 motors. That's me with. That's not me at all. That's David Williams. That's definitely David Williams. That's my RT though with 3PO and David Williams. If you don't know who that is, he's a comic in the UK. That's that. I'll tell you what I did with that. Right, I smashed that thing up. It caused me so many headaches, and I swear, if people didn't have their houses burnt down by that thing, then they were very lucky.
Yeah, and I was just blowing smoke at the time.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, nice effect that, Jerry.
That was good. Yeah, that's my buddy Rowan. There's a real ALT droid in the background there, and a little interesting story about that is that's the only ALT droid in the world, I think, that's been made at that time. And I tipped it over and smashed it to bits, so had to rebuild it. So yeah.
Here's a question, 3D Maker Hub, Daniel. When was the last time you've been to Disney?
That I'd been to Disney, well, as in Disneyland or Disney what?
I'm assuming Disney World or Disneyland. Oh, Daniel works for Disney World in Florida. That's why I just thought about that 3D Maker Hub.
You know what? I was supposed to go last year, and then COVID hit. I was going to do California, and we were going to do Celebration in Anaheim, or is that the same place? I don't know.
That's not Disney World. That's Disneyland, California.
Yeah, I was going to do both. So before we had a baby, we were going to go out and do all this stuff, and it just COVID hit, and that was the end of that. So I haven't managed to get out there yet. I really want to go out there, but it's difficult, obviously, with flights and stuff and quarantine, and until you got that jab in your arm, you're not going to be safe anywhere, I guess. So yeah.
Michael, I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been here like 53 years here in the U.S. So
yeah.
Las Vegas, where everybody wants to go and spend all the money.
I've been to Vegas, had the pleasure of Vegas, superb place, and Disney in both. Well, I've been to Orlando, I've not been to Anaheim yet, so I was hoping to go there. As Sam said, this year, as soon as lockdowns complete or we're allowed to travel, we're off to Florida and hopefully Anaheim as well. Just want to, and I know so many guys out there now. We just want to kind of go and pop over and have a bit of a blast for a bit of time, really.
The next time they have a Maker Faire back east from here, I'd love to go and meet a lot of people that I've met in the community over the last 4 years. I'd love to go and meet people in person. Virtually is fun, but it'd be cool to, bump fists or shake hands, whatever, talk in person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's what we're all waiting for at the moment.
Oh, we've seen that one. That's your wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, so this is the 501st again. I am the the black trooper on the far right hand side, and that was a gig called Let's Rock Marlow or something, massive festival that they have over there. Again, we're not doing any of these things at the moment, so we got on stage. Lord Vader is there in the middle, of course, and we're raising money for charity again.
And here's a spray putty you were talking about. I'm not familiar with spray putty.
Yeah, so if you got Bondo over there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so basically it's Bondo in a can.
Wow.
So you spray that stuff on, and sand it, and spray a bit more on, then sand it, then spray a bit more on, then sand it. And then what do you do, Michael?
Sand it, I think, and spray a little bit more on. But the beauty of it, Jerry, is that it doesn't go into the detail, so it kind of it manages to keep the detail of the print, but it's a lot thicker than standard filler spray. So it really, 2-3 coats over a 3D printed object and sanding, and it gets a beautifully clean finish.
It sprays out like a real thick paint, or does it spatter on like a spackling?
It sprays out like paint. I don't know if you can see the detail on this one here. This is actually 3D printed on a standard FDM printer.
Okay.
And and trying to sand, as you can imagine, getting into all of these individual crevices and whatnot is very, very difficult. So what this is just literally 3D printed about 4 or 5 coats of that stuff, and then the black paint over the top of it, and it really does maintain the detail, but still, and that's the little top bit of a full-sized mouse droid, which is, if you're wondering what it is, but it's superb stuff, really, really good stuff.
Very nice. Let's see, where am I at on pictures? Showed it. Oh, here's a close-up of the toys.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've managed to get hold of one of these. Really pleased with this one, because obviously the blue droid that Sam did, I got involved in the dome on that, and then Dio, of course, on the left-hand side. I think I was probably one of the first people to do a fully rolling, fully balancing version of that when just after the Rise of Skywalker came out. So not Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, it was Rise of Skywalker.
These are only available at the Disneyland stores and the theme parks, or are they? If they might be available on Amazon or other places?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can get them on eBay and stuff. But yeah, I mean, generally it is it's at the parks. It's park exclusive.
Okay. And there's something. Can I ask you about the different names there? What they might represent, if you would know?
Well, there's a couple of stories there. So SHP is Sam and my Sam Prentice. The H is Hannah, my wife. And LE5 is a joke on somebody that works within the industry called Lee. And he mistakenly got called Les once. So I thought it'd be funny to name the droid LE5. And Disney went with it. So it's kind of like an in-joke. You know those in-jokes that you've got to sort of had to have been there to sort of witness it and stuff. But they went with it, which was kind of funny.
Well, it's neat when people buy these, they kind of know, they remember hearing a backstory. You know, like, hey, I seen that live stream that time, and Sam and Mr. Badley were on there, and this is named after him and his wife, and yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is when they wrote the descriptions up about this, they actually made a masculine and feminine droid. Now, I think that's the first time that they've done that since the pink droid was in the film. So normally with droids, they don't have, there's no sex to it. So it's but they said it's a masculine, it's a feminine programming, and that was kind of interesting for me. But there's a whole story, and if you read the story in the manual, it's quite funny. And it's almost representing of me and one of my buddies. So it's funny.
Yeah. Sometimes when I wear I got a Pink Floyd T-shirt from Dark Side of the Moon. It's got a bunch of different colors. And somebody made a comment in one of the streams and say, "Hey, I like your Pride shirt." No, it's Pink Floyd. It has nothing to do with Pride. So we're not going to talk about that.
It's funny you should say that because I've got the same shirt, actually. I saw you wearing it the other day and I was like, okay, yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, every time I do a stream, I'm like, well, what should I wear? I did have a Dallas shirt on it, buttoned up, and I was getting hot in it. And I kind of like this biker type long sleeve shirt. I'm not hot in it. It's kind of like long underwear type material, and it's black in color, and I love it. So, yeah, and I didn't shave. Mr. Bagley, up until recently, I had a goatee, and I figured my wife's like, well, why don't you grow your beard? I don't like a beard because I look so old. I'm 56. I'll be 57 June 12th. But, yeah, it makes me look older, but I don't know. I kind of like the look.
I grew mine just at the beginning of COVID because every 80s film that I've ever watched, the indication of time is somebody growing a beard. Steven Seagal went into a coma and he came out with a big beard, so I thought it'd be funny. And then it's kind of COVID's gone on a little bit longer than what I expected, but I may trim it at some point.
Okay, so this was BBC Children in Need. Again, you got Simon in 3PO. This is Colin Fuse, who's the inventor in the UK. I don't know if you've seen any of his videos, but he made that land speeder. And then they auctioned it on eBay. So the guy in the middle is a presenter called Graham Norton. I don't know what the other lady's name is, actually. But I was behind so you see where those lines kind of meet? I was behind there looking at a screen. And it's quite daunting because if you were to drive the droid too far, it would have fallen off the side of the stage.
Oh, wow. And
Colin's a little bit of a lunatic if you ever subscribe to his YouTube channel. I did an interview with him, actually, and we were talking about this. And, he went in a little bit fast. And I think there was some fear that he may bump droids at some point.
on set with your droids, do things usually go perfectly as planned, or do crazy things happen and you got to run and go fix it and they got to wait?
No, of course, Jerry, we're professionals.
And if you lose signal, it's going to keep going. You can't hit a stop button and stop it if for some reason.
No, so we have a process in the UK. Generally, for doing events, you have to have what we call an MOT. Now, an MOT in the UK is something you'd have on your car. So, just to check emissions, that things aren't going to fall off and garrot people as they're going down the road, that kind of thing. So, we do the same for droids in the UK. And if you're going to attend an event, we've got to make sure there's fail-safe. So if you do lose control of it, it will come to a sudden stop. It isn't going to crash into a bunch of people and, go all crazy. So that's it in a nutshell. So we do use, certainly if you're doing a Disney event or a film or whatever, we do use Spectrum controllers generally. For that reason, rather than you think you've got a lot of Wi-Fi, you've got a lot of signals running around, lighting, cameras, all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to kind of mystify the signals.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a very famous clip of Japanese clip of
yeah. Well, you've dug deep, Jerry. So that is Jonas. That is Chewie. That's outside the Millennium Falcon, and that's me stepping into shot with my remote control.
Oh,
And I don't know why I'm there or what I was doing, but yeah, there you go.
Wow.
I think that's one of the challenges of being on set, isn't it, Sam? Having to hide behind things and control things, but being not having full view of where you're driving compared to what you'd do at events.
Yeah, we were hiding behind a rock, and they shouted cut, and then all of a sudden this guy came out of a hose pipe and started sort of there was a rock face, and we're hiding behind all these rocks, and then he just got a hose out and started wetting the set because we're in a jungle scene, right? So it's moist and it's horrendously hot. And there's a guy throwing leaves down and dirt and stuff. And whoosh, he's got the thing going, we're under this rock, get out of the way. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy, really, how that kind of all happens. But yeah, it's out of sight, out of mind, and just keep an eye on what you're doing and try not to hit anybody or, you know, make the droid fall over or whatever. But yeah.
Very nice. Oh, Sam and Michael, are you guys married? You have kids?
We're not married to each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, 3D Print and Paint, I had them on a few weeks ago, and I was going to be sure I didn't say that where I said that line altogether because I didn't want people to think that. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm married. I am married. Yeah, I've got 2 kids. My kids are quite grown up, so they're 23 and at university, etc. Whereas Sam's kids are quite small, I think.
Are they into 3D printing and they interested in the stuff that you do?
They take the mickey incessantly of what I do, ridicule me all the time. However, they're also incredibly proud. So the two girls, so they'll come round and they'll bring the friends in and they'll show the shed and all of the 3D prints. And my wife also comes to a lot of events. And again loves the community because there's some really nice people in there. So yeah, they're quite heavily involved. It's great actually, to be honest, to see families involved in it, from small kids building and wives coming along. 'Cause I think historically it's always been middle-aged, grey-haired old men involved in the hobby. So it's nice to see.
What's your background before you got into 3D printing in the real world? What kind of stuff did you like to do?
Oh gosh, I used to be an electromechanical engineer, so lots of building and repairing in printers, the 2D printers originally, and now I work for a Japanese company and work pretty much in kind of management. But yeah, it's this is a good release from the day job. In kind of I've still got that engineering side, I think, inside me that needs to be fulfilled. So yeah, I love it.
And you, Sam, I know you're married and you got your first son is on his way.
He's on his way, May the 4th. That's the due date apparently. So it wasn't planned like that, but that's the way it kind of fell. Yeah. So, and I'm in waste electronics, so smashing up computers and decommissioning, and I go all over the place taking out telecoms equipment, and it's kind of high-end comms rooms and removing stuff. So yeah, I've been doing that for about 10 years. And again, this started off as a hobby, and when I first started doing this, it was all about, I saw Star Wars was on the TV. I got onto the group on Facebook. One of the guys added me, and I was laughing because I was like, oh God, this guy's just added me on Facebook. Hilarious. One of the R2 Sados. And he's a great guy. He really got me into it. He was most of the people that are involved with this, there's no, other than when in lockdown, normally I'd say, if you want to come and have a look, then you know what you're getting yourself involved with. And quite often people do. And in fact, I went to Michael Badley's house once and his kids were there, and they said, oh, I said, is Mike about? He said, oh, he'll be back in a minute. Who are you? I went, oh, I'm to do with the robot. Oh, you're one of those weirdos. Thanks very much. Yeah. So, yeah, it was good. It's good. And again, I met you a long time ago, Mike, now, really, wasn't it, I suppose? So
yeah, it was strange. I mean, we messaged each other on Facebook, and Sam had a gear. I think it might have been that first gear he showed, actually, that he needed for one of the R2s. And I literally just started to go to bed, and I thought I'll just design it quickly and send it across. So I sent him across, and he was like, "Oh, fantastic, great." It turned out he's getting married somewhere near where I live, and I think the first interaction I had with Sam is I came home one day and there was a keg of beer that was sat on my doorstep. I was like, well, you can certainly buy friends with beer. So with this full keg of beer, I was like, Sam, you just sent me a keg of beer. He said, yeah, cheers, dude. And since then, I guess we've been firm friends. So yeah.
I don't know how well the new Facebook, I don't really care for the new Facebook. It's got a lot of quirks, but I always wanted to say whenever a person joins a group, if you have a problem with anything, before you type it, hit the search bar and search for your topic, because it probably already happened 1,000 times. And a lot of times it's repetitive if you keep asking the same question. If you just search for it, you can probably read what happened and get your answer right there without having to re-ask a fresh question.
It's a great debate, because we've got a lot of guys that absolutely love the forums and the structure of forums, and then we've got a new generation that are coming through on Facebook. Personally, I love Facebook, and the search functionality is there and it works. I can find most of the old posts just by searching in Facebook, but you just kind of have to find that search button, hit it, and type it. But one of the things that we have in our group, again, on the the helping thing, is if you want to ask, just ask. It takes 2 minutes to type an answer, and if you don't want to type an answer, don't type an answer. And it really works well to help people particularly when they're first starting off.
Yeah, but I would definitely like to start building a small droid, getting a project with a tripod. Sam, however we want to do this, Mr. Bagley, I would love to do something like that, and maybe do some streams or videos on it, whatever it takes. So I'm definitely.
I think we're going to start that in the next couple of weeks. I've got a little chat with Tripod coming up, and we're just going to work out how we're going to do it. And
Okay.
Mike's already aware that we're going to do some stuff, so it'd be good to kind of get that going and put it out to an online audience. And as I say, kind of like a show and tell thing. It's kind of like, what have you done? How does this all work? And then if anyone's got any problems, let's talk about it. So, and again, you don't have to be. It's something cool to have. And if you've got a 3D printer, and it's not doing much at the moment, then let's have a crack at it.
I think it's just such a good hobby. And I remember when I was a kid building aeroplanes with my father or whatever, and actually see something you've created is actually rolling around or moving or has got lights on it. The sort of pleasure you get with that's fantastic. And if you can get your kids involved, equally that's superb. But Sam and I have spoken. We'll sort something out in one of the designs, something that's kind of intermediate. So there's a bit of technology, a bit of printing, a bit of mobility, and then we can start a project off. That'd be superb.
Sam, how do you, or either one of you, how do you transport your large droids? Do you have a big box and they're styrofoam and they're strapped down, or how do you transport something like that?
I have a big ramp, and I drive it into the back of my van and then strap it in. That's it. There's no the 3D printing ones are easier, obviously, because they're lighter, much lighter. But anything that's of considerable weight, then it goes on a ramp and goes in. And that's it. There's no for some of the smaller droids, certainly like the mini ALTs and things like that. People have designed boxes and stuff like that to carry it around in. Like the controllers also have special boxes and stuff. But yeah.
And on the 3D printed ones, I just pop them in the car. So R2, I'll take legs off, take the dome off. Each part you can carry very easily because they're 25 kilos overall, and they're a lot easier to transport. It's just the bulk, but they'll fit in the boot quite easily. But as Sam said, when you start to get into the aluminium ones and some of the big ones, they're a considered transportation. There's a guy in the club who's built the XL one, which is. It's I think it's about 5 foot or 6 foot R2 RAM, and you can literally sit inside this thing. And it was the first build that he made, and that is ridiculous to move around, as you can imagine.
Wasn't the original actor for R2D2, wasn't that Kenny Baker?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had anybody walk up to your remote control R2D2 and knock on it and say, Kenny?
Well, they wouldn't do because he's dead. But previously they would have done, definitely. And like I say, we've had kids that have gone, there's a little man inside there. Oh, it's there, and then they're starting to look. And I did have an idea of the latest R2 is a good chap called Hassan. Brilliant guy, absolutely amazing guy. And if you ever get to meet him, if you get the chance to, anyway. But I was going to get him to record. Help! Let me out! I'm stuck in here, and just be playing that on loop and stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. It's
I didn't realize he had passed on, but you kind of get my point. But
yeah. So there's a chap called Jimmy V that played R2 in The Rise of Skywalker, and then he was replaced by Hassan in the Last Jedi. So in The Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi. It's quite late, isn't it, Mike?
I think Force Awakens you meant, and then
No, he was in the right. No, he was in Force Awakens. I can't remember now. I don't know. I can't remember. No,
The problem anyway. Is it diffumes, they affect your brain, as you know.
It's What's it time? It's 3:30.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get going. It's been about an hour and a half. Would either one of you guys have anything you'd like to say to everybody watching? I mean, we've got people all over the world watching here, and if they're not live, they'll watch it tonight, tomorrow, next week. You never know.
Please subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/The Real Sam Prentice. I've got kids to feed now, and I'd like you to watch my videos, please. So I'm going to be doing some cool content on there. I do CNC, 3D printing, and droid building is the latest thing. And make sure you hit up Jerry as well, and obviously Michael Badley and all his pages, the million pages that he has. But the important one is probably his Facebook, I'd say. Would you say, Matt?
Yeah. Facebook is where it all starts, and the YouTube channel is pretty good as well. And Sam's, I think between myself and Sam, there's some incredible content that kind of sits on there all around droids and building droids. So
that's been awesome. It's really awesome that you guys both came on. It's very nice meeting you, Michael. And let me stick around here real quick and let me say goodbye to everybody, and I'll get right back with you in 1 second.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Wow, that was awesome having both of them on. But yeah, the people that won tonight, I'll get with you on your email. I'll go back and look at my program or watch the video, and I'll find out what color to film it you wanted and where we're sending it to. And the same with the scanning app program from EM3D. But yeah, please like, subscribe, share the video. Either one of these great guys will be links in the description below where you can find them at. And if I haven't put it there, it will be put there. But I think I have it covered. But thank you very much, everybody out there. And not sure what we're going to do next time, but thank you very much and happy printing. Take care, everybody. Oh no, where's